Mr. President. Thank you for your introduction, for welcoming us here to Lewis and Clark Community College, and for being a leader of a leadership institution that's helping Illinoisans to shape their careers and their futures. And I want to thank also the Mayor Michael McCormick, for welcoming us to Godfrey. Thank you for your presence here today and for everything you do for the residents of Godfrey. Throughout my governorship, I've been very proud to increase support for Lewis and Clark and also for all of our community colleges, and to make college more attractive and more affordable for students. Students like Sam Copeland, who you're going to hear from in a little bit, who's a young leader here at LNC. And I want to say that there are many doors that we need to open for young people like Sam, and I know he's walking through those doors, and you're going to get to hear about that. And still there are others who are looking to pursue certificates and other short-term programs, and so we've expanded MAP scholarships and asked the General Assembly to make them easier for community college students to get, putting them more on par with their four-year program peers. It's another thing that we can do to help lift up learners all across the state of Illinois. Serving 15,000 students, Lewis and Clark is exactly the kind of institution that we should be investing in to fuel economic opportunity throughout this region. And thanks to Rebuild Illinois, the capital plan, today we get to celebrate nearly $40 million worth of renovations on the LNC campus. When we first passed the state's capital bill, we got right to work, upgrading roads and bridges, modernizing our state crime labs, providing historic investments for preschool facilities, and creating new academic buildings and student centers at our colleges and universities. I want to recognize the leadership of Senator Rochelle Crow, who's standing to my right behind me, in bringing these funds to the Lewis and Clark community, as well as Senator Steve McClure on the other side of the aisle, who affirms our need to rebuild our state in a bipartisan fashion. And Representative Ellick, thank you for your support of smart investments in the critical infrastructure that keeps our state growing and going. It's no secret that the virus made life harder on working families over the last 2 years, and it reshaped the economic landscape of our state and our nation. But we have seen one of the most dramatic economic recoveries in history, and there's no better time than now to put a down payment on the strongest possible future for Metro East and the entire region. The renovations here at Lewis and Clark represent just that, fuel for growth in this region for many years to come. And we've got so much more in store for this area. Since I signed the capital bill into law 2.5 years ago, Rebuild Illinois has repaired or replaced over 3,500 miles of roads and nearly 350 bridges statewide, including Interstate 255, once one of the most notorious stretches of road in the state. And let's not forget, thanks to our incredible laborers, that project was finished under budget and ahead of schedule, saving taxpayers millions and millions of dollars. We're rebuilding we're building a new health science building at SIU Edwardsville. We launched a manufacturing training academy at Southwestern Illinois College. We're supporting the historic renovation of the former Broadview Hotel in East St. Louis, a local mixed-use initiative to revitalize the heart of downtown East St. Louis. Rebuild Illinois is extending Metrolink to the Mid-America Airport, where there are hundreds of new jobs, rehabbing America's Central Port to grow our economy, expanding high-speed internet throughout the entire region to ensure that no one is left behind, and enhancing mass transit throughout Madison and St. Clair counties, which will make the region even more attractive for families and for businesses. Just this morning, I joined with local leaders to announce the title sponsorship of the NASCAR Enjoy Illinois 300, which will bring $60 million of economic impact to this region. I'm very proud to have partners and advocates in the General Assembly working hard for this community every step of the way. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to a major voice for this project and for all of the projects in this region that are so important to our working families, and that's Senator Rochelle Crow. Senator?
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Rochelle Crow. I'm the senator for the 56th District, and as you can tell by the color I'm sporting today, I'm a very proud alumna of Lewis and Clark. So hopefully I can speak through my smiles today, because today is truly a great day for all of us here. I want to start by thanking the board and President Traska and the mayor for your partnership in making this happen today. And to the governor, I'm so grateful for your continued dedication to our region of the state. Early on in the governor's candidacy, he made the promise that he would not forget Southern Illinois and the Metro East, and I know that he has proved that today. So thank you, Governor. It is truly an honor to make this long-awaited announcement and celebrate this monumental step in support of higher education opportunities here in the Metro East. Located near the 1804 departure spot of the famous Lewis and Clark expedition and constructed in 1889, the campus serves as a focal point in history, and its design boasts a remarkable architectural heritage. To put it simply, this place is historical, it's beautiful, it's special, and it's old. As we all know, dated buildings require elaborate upkeep, and unfortunately, mold and consistent HVAC concerns have deteriorated this main complex that we're in today. Knowing that repairs were critically needed, I requested $37.5 million to fund the college's main complex renovation project in the governor's Rebuild Illinois plan. Last year, I had the privilege of joining President Traska and Trustee Dwight Wirtz to see this crumbling foundation firsthand. Shortly thereafter, officials were forced to close portions of the building. In the months following, I worked with the governor and Deputy Governor Andy Minar to get the funding released, and I want to thank everyone who made this possible. Lewis and Clark's main complex is the heart of the campus for students, for faculty, and for visitors, and I'm so relieved to see today's investments moving forward so that we can continue to operate here on the campus. This renovation offers the strongest, most cost-effective path to return this historic complex to full working capacity. As proven advocates for higher education, I commend this group for their efforts to promote learning in the Metro East and throughout our state. I thank you, and now I have the pleasure of introducing our student trustee, Samuel Copeland.
Thank you. A lot of the discussion so far has been how this building is historic. It has been about how this building can be improved to improve enrollment and economic interest in the college here. But I want to take a step back from that and talk about the student perspective here. A lot of the students love this building, and a lot of the students love to go here. And it is impossible to put into words the feeling that you get walking down these historic halls that you know that students have been walking down for years and years, thousands of students. And that's what makes it so hard to look about how this building has deteriorated in the past. Students can certainly feel how historic this building is when the AC broke. Students could definitely hear how historic this building is as the floors creak as we walk down the hallways. That's a lot of the reason why we're improving the building today. And I can also not put into words what it's like to walk down the hallways and hear the laughter and talking of students in clubs that are interested and in our honors college where they are building better things and representing the best of this college. That's what makes it so heartbreaking to see the building in its current state. I'm hearing the hallways and they're deafeningly quiet. I'm walking down the hallways and seeing no smiles, no conversation, no nothing. And luckily, we have these amazing people here today who have come together to make this problem go away. A lot of the funding here will hopefully be spent towards classrooms, and let me tell you why that's so important. A lot of our faculty and administration have come together over the past few years to push us towards the frontier of learning in this nation. Together with competency-based education, together with BlendFlex education, we are leading the frontier of education here. And it's sad to see that our classrooms are not keeping up with that. And I do mean it here that it is amazing to see that our classrooms are now keeping up with the leaps and bounds in education that our faculty are putting together. I'd personally love to thank our faculty and administration for pushing us towards this, and I hope that our goals here are met wonderfully. I would personally love to see laughter and talking and conversation come back into the hallways of this building. I would personally love to see students come back together and make this campus a little more happy. I'd like to personally thank everyone again, all of the administrators, all of the politicians, all of our faculty for making this possible and doing all the grueling work and everything that comes with that. So with that, I'd like to introduce one of the people who made this possible, Senator McClure. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Sam. So one of the big drivers of economic growth is our community colleges across the state. And I don't think people realize that people tend to stay where they go to school. And, you know, Lewis and Clark has a particularly strong impact on that because of all the trades that the school helps with. I remember the first time I toured this campus, just number one, you see what a beautiful campus it is. Number two, you just see the impact it has on the entire economy. And the fact that so many come from across the country to come here and so many stay in the area afterwards is a real testament to the impact this school has. And this is exciting. You know, I think most students, when they decide whether they're going to go to community college or go to college, they look at the campus. And this is one of the most beautiful campuses, I think, in the whole country for any community college. But these renovations are going to help so much to sustain that and to bring us into the future here. And, you know, I got to thank the president, the board, the governor, my fellow members of the General Assembly, the mayor. I can't even tell you how many jobs that Lewis and Clark provides for students that come here. And I represent right now all our parts of 9 counties. And in fact, over the last few weeks, I've gone to several events. And I've met many students that have come here. And guess what? They're still here. They're still in the community. They're still, you know, valuable. Unfortunately for me, my family has basically moved out of the state. However, I think if they'd have gone to Lewis and Clark, they'd have stayed here. But that's the impact that this college has, this community college. And so I just thank you for all that you do. These renovations are important not just for the school, but for our state and for the region. They're going to bring people here and keep people here. And when people see this beautiful campus, I can't imagine too many people are not going to want to come here. So I thank everyone involved in the project. I look forward to the renovations. And with that, with that, I want to introduce State Representative Amy Ellick.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the 111th District, Governor Pritzker and team. I'm thrilled to see this day come to fruition, and I know the feeling is mutual for all of you here today. Funding to make the necessary improvements to this beautiful and historic main complex here at Lewis and Clark has arrived. The state funds released are absolutely critical to make the needed repairs in order to safely open the main complex in its entirety for our students and our outstanding faculty. Since I first took office last January, I became aware of the infrastructure needs here at Lewis and Clark. I understood the importance of making sure this funding was a priority for the state of Illinois. I appreciate the governor's office and the staff at the state agencies who responded to my calls last fall and recognized the urgency of this critical funding so that we can be here today to kick off this huge project. Lewis and Clark Community College is arguably one of the best community colleges, not only in our state, but the nation as well. We will keep that reputation with these necessary renovations, which include, but not limited to, the plumbing, HVAC systems, various mechanical and electrical upgrades. So thank you again to the governor's office and state agencies for your support of Lewis and Clark Community College, and thank you to the faculty and leadership of the college for your vision and commitment to providing outstanding educational opportunities for all students in the region. Now I'd like to bring the governor back to the podium.
Thank you, Representative. Happy to take any questions from members of the media. Or not. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today.